Now, the newest track of Hurricane Irma just coming into us. We're going to get to that in just a second.
First, though, the stunning new figure here, 5.6 million people told to leave Florida with no time to spare.
If you're not on the road by midnight, all right, don't get on the road. We have shelters in your community. Go to those shelters. I mean, you can go to your family, go to your friends, go to those shelters. But we don't want people on the road when the storm starts to hit.
And Hurricane Irma is expected to slam Florida as a Category 5 storm. That is the strongest on the scale. The National Weather Service not mincing words, saying nowhere in the Florida Keys will be safe.
We do have team coverage this evening live in Florida, where that mass exodus is happening right now. We do want to start, though, with Stormwatch 7 meteorologist Steve Rudin. Steve, you just got the latest update. What is it telling you?
And it came in just about a minute and a half ago. We have two updates for you. Katia, now a hurricane that has made landfall in the Gulf of Mexico and Mexico. The bigger news, though, will be Irma, and this storm has intensified back to once again a Category 5 hurricane with winds at 160 miles per hour. So that's a 5-mile-per-hour increase over the last update at 8 o'clock. Wind gusts are also up to around 195 miles per hour. It is slowing just a bit. Movement is to the west at 13 miles per hour, and it is expected to intensify in strength just a little bit more as we move through the overnight hours and through the day tomorrow. Let me give you the latest update for you. Category 5 storm just off the northern coast of Cuba. It is moving off toward the west. It stays as a Category 5 and then will weaken just a bit, but keep in mind, when you see these numbers here that say 4 and the potential landfall at a 4, this is all subject to change. But right now, it looks like our best guidance as we move into late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, through the day on Sunday, through Florida and southwestern Florida. That will see the biggest impact from this storm. And then by Monday and Tuesday of next week, it's way across Georgia and then eventually over Tennessee. Josh Knight's going to join me in just a few minutes. We're going to go into more detail about the track, storm surge, the latest updated hurricane warnings, and the impact on our local area coming up in just a few minutes. Jonathan?
Steve, we'll see in a few. Thanks. New video tonight of traffic along the Florida Turnpike. That stuff right there, all those folks, they're heading north. They want to get out. Millions of people packing up and leaving their homes for safer ground. But time is ticking. We have seen the rush for supplies, also for fuel. Brad Bell is in Delray Beach tonight. And Brad, what are you seeing there as far as the number of folks now that are just going to hunker down, the ones who decided to stay?
Yeah, you know what, Jonathan, earlier today when we were speaking to you, we were out by the beach, there were a lot of people out and about. Well, tonight, this is Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. It is normally packed on a Friday night. There's a trickle of people out here because there was a pizza place still open and an ice cream parlor still open. They're now closing. The pizza parlor is bringing out its storm shutters, and they're going to turn their restaurant into something that looks more like this one over here, like all of the businesses in town. They're covered up with these storm shutters, and they're putting down the sandbags to try to protect against that storm surge they fear so much. Preparations for Irma have been in full swing for days now. Drive through a residential neighborhood and you'll see homes with storm shutters already in place, plywood covering windows. But in Delray Beach, you'll also see plenty of people at home where they plan to stay for the duration.
5 stories, cement bunker, hurricane glass windows. I think we'll be okay.
This town has seen its share of hurricanes and near misses. Many feel they'll be just fine with precautions, so they're continuing to board up businesses. Sidewalk cafes are taking down their awnings, and there are sandbags in place and a lot of prayers being said.
If the water comes, it comes. You know, I've got a nice roll-down shutter here that I will put down to protect the property.
But there are also those who have chosen to leave their homes. Gas stations were resupplied last night and gave many the option to leave. And in Delray, a high school has become a shelter, fast filling up with people like Pam Dill, frightened by the forecast.
I said, that's it. I'm going to a shelter. I'm not taking a chance on this one.
Well, that's the advice that people want to follow, that officials want people to follow here. Look, get to the shelter, get out of the area while you still have time. You heard that was, midnight. If you're not on the road by midnight, you got to get out. Look, the storm shutters are up all across this area. They're taking it seriously. Everybody here watching that storm track, they believe it's good news for this area that it's moving west. But even so, storm is so big, we're going to be having hurricane force winds here very late tomorrow night and into Sunday. in Delray Beach. Brad Bell reporting.
Brad, thanks very much. I want to show you something, too. Irma has already battered several of the Caribbean islands, leaving a path of flattened buildings, and you can see behind us here. There's areas of homes that were right up on the shoreline. They have been picked apart to the foundations.
And tonight, that deadly storm, it moved into Cuba. Tom Rousey tracking these new images of the devastation that are really coming into focus for us tonight, Tom.
Yeah, it's already so awful, it's hard to believe the worst may be still yet to come. Latest estimate we have puts the number of people who have already died in the Caribbean at 24. That number, however, definitely expected to grow because Irma is hitting new areas as we speak. This is a shot from the Bahamas as the storm hit there. Before that, it had already left a lot of damage elsewhere in the Caribbean. Large parts of St. Martin are completely destroyed tonight. The U.S. Virgin Islands also suffered a lot of damage. Other islands as well hit. Some Americans actually wound up stuck in Irma's path in the Caribbean. ABC talked to one person on Turks and Caicos who made an emotional call to her family before Irma hit there.
You call, you say goodbye, you tell them you love them. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
At least so far, perhaps nowhere has been harder hit than the tiny island way out there of Barbuda. This drone video is just in today of the damage left after the hurricane hit there on Wednesday. It is estimated that Irma destroyed 95% of the buildings on that island. And again, the worst may be yet to come as Irma starts hitting bigger and more populated areas, Jonathan.
Only hope not. Tom, thanks very much. Our live coverage of Hurricane Irma does continue throughout this newscast. In fact, our meteorologist Josh Knight, he is on the ground in Boca Raton, Florida. We'll have a live report for him coming up at 11:50.